would like to also,
Sure. Go ahead,
yeah.
Madhu.
So can you please once again tell me the question so that I can give you accurate answer?
Okay, so I was just trying to understand where are you working? What location are you in? And then what's the most exciting thing about your job?
Okay. So, ma'am, I'm accounts and finance professional, and I'm working based out of Delhi. So, I'm working for a Gurgaon-based company which allows me to remote work.
Oh,
And the best part is that now I don't have to commute to office a lot. But apart from that, I find this field like it's my passionate calling to work in this field, accounts and finance. So there are high points as well, but there are some concerns due to which I have joined this webinar. Which first I will imbibe your inputs, and if you allow us the opportunity that later, and then I'll share my concerns. That I'm going through a phase where I'm not able to progress in the way I feel in my line of work, and it's number crunching and repetition. So these are my, which is mentally fatigue, and so these are my concerns. But overall, I'm right now managing, hanging in there, but I'm looking for some breakthroughs, and that's why I'm here with people out here. Thank you so
sure,
much.
sure. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Madhu. So I will take the exciting part of what you shared is about hanging on. Sometimes we just need to hang on before a breakthrough can come and before you can find a way to cut through the challenge that you are facing. So hopefully the next 90 minutes or so will help all of us to discover our own breakthrough. And then we will have question and answer. So toward the end, we will I'll try to address any questions that you have. So roughly from an estimation perspective, uh, we'll spend about 90 minutes or so together, plus minus, not minus, but plus 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And then I'll be available beyond that in case anybody has questions. So let's get started. So a warm welcome, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so all of you have registered for this webinar, which is called the Career Accelerator Formula. And I've named it very purposefully. It's called a formula because of a reason. And the reason is that when you apply a formula, the results are predictable. If you are cooking something, you have a recipe. If you follow the recipe exactly, then you get the dish that you're trying to cook. So similarly, when I was working on putting up a program for myself and my clients, I was thinking, what's the name that I should go with? And I was working with a coach at that time, and the coach said, okay, get it interesting, make it so that people are curious about the name that you're going to share. And also, it denotes something, it has a meaning. So, the meaning for me of this name, Career Accelerator Formula, is a step by step process that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. So it's a step-by-step program. It's a proven process that I've executed with many, many clients right now. And my endeavor in the next 90 minutes or so is to walk through this formula and share from my experiences, from my clients' experiences, and some things that will help you to discover what could be the reason that you are having some challenge in your career. And I guess you have a challenge, that is why you are here. Either it could be a challenge or it could be that you're doing well but you want to do better. So it could be anything that brings you here. So my intention for the next 90 minutes is that I use this opportunity to serve you to the best extent possible, and all of you take back insights and understanding which will help you to implement and change things at work. So that's the intention of today. And thank you so much for spending this time with me, because the most important resource is time. And on a Saturday evening, spending 90 minutes here is really, really uh, is is very heartwarming for me. So thank you for registering. Thank you for being here. And let's move forward with that. Okay, so what do you see in this picture? We will use chat extensively because I'll not be able to take questions as we are going on, but I would definitely encourage all of you to use chat because chat is open and it's available. So what comes to your mind when you see this picture? Yeah, everybody's stressed and tired, exhausted, burnt out. Tired, yeah, busy, no excitement. Absolutely. So we see a bunch of employees who are tired, exhausted, not content, dissatisfaction, unfulfilled. That's the picture that this shows. Now, here's a very, very beautiful phrase that I came across as I was reading a beautiful book that I'm still reading, but this is what caught my attention. Okay. And it says that discontent is the secret door to significant and life giving change. This is a book called Women Who Run with the Wolves by Dr. Clarissa Estes. It's a marvelous, marvelous book. But here's what caught my attention. So discontent is the secret door to significant and life-giving change. Does anybody want to unmute and share what comes to your mind when you hear this quote? What does this quote mean to you?
Deepa, hi, Subarna here. I would probably interpret this as, I mean, discontent. I mean, if you're not currently content or satisfied with the way your life is going, that is where, that is probably the point where you would like to make some significant changes to it and give it a direction. I mean, I'm not saying that it will be entirely positive, but at least you would try to make a big change to it. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said, Subarna. So if we are not discontent, if we are absolutely content and satisfied, then there is nothing to work on because we are either happy or we are fulfilled, or sometimes we have just accepted what is happening in our life. And it could be the most uncomfortable thing happening. It could be the most frustrating thing happening. We've given up on change, right? So if we are at any stage where we are not unhappy or discontent or we crave for a change, nothing is going to change. The first step towards a change is being willing to change. That's the first step. So discontent, identifying an opportunity, identifying a potential, that's the door to magnificent transformation and change. Right? And when we can address that discontent and when we can move forward with that, here is what happens. It's music, it's dance, it's glory, it's happiness, it's cheer, it's all of that. Right? So we have to keep identifying. Most of us are scared of discontent because we think we should not be unhappy, we should not be unfulfilled, we need to be satisfied with what we have. We look at others and say, oh, they have bigger problems than I am. Why should I be discontent? That's not the way to look at that. Okay, so be open to what you are experiencing, what you are feeling, because that's the pathway to transformation and change. Okay. All right. So who am I? I know some of you have experienced me. Some of you have heard me. I have had interactions with some of you. But for those of you who haven't, this is like, I'll just take a few seconds to share who am I. So my name is Deepa Chandrasekharan. I'm a corporate professional turned entrepreneur. I'm an author. I love my book and it's in my hands here. It's called Career Accelerator Formula. I'm also a podcaster. I've just finished season 1 of a podcast called Conversation Unplugged. It's on YouTube. And my core focus right now and my mission is to help mid to senior leaders build a career that is inspiring and fun. That's the biggest gap that I have seen while I was also working in corporate for close to 2 decades. And that's the mission that I am on, to enable corporate leaders to live an inspiring and fulfilling life. I'm also the top career development voice on LinkedIn. That happened recently. So I'm very, very happy about that. I'm a constant learner. I still enroll to training programs. I keep learning. I'm an avid reader. I listen, I read, I do all of that stuff. And most importantly, my core beliefs when I'm working with my coaches is all of us are very, very powerful. We are powerful beyond imagination. And we have the potential to create the life and career of our dreams. This is the reality. Now, the question is, if all of us are so powerful, then why are we stuck? Why do you feel stagnated? Why are you suffering, right? Now, the challenge is that we all have these conditionings that have come over our potential. I cannot do that. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the experience. I don't speak well. I am, I'm short. I'm tall. I'm fair. I'm black. Everything that we have heard from, I'm not creative. All of these things that we have heard growing up have added, layers and layers and layers on our raw potential, which is powerful. So my job as a coach, and this is my belief, that what I am doing is I'm just helping you discover yourself. So I just play the role of a thinking partner and catalyst. And when you can discover yourself, you can perform beyond imagination. Like you can surprise yourself with the results that you can get for yourself. Okay, so this is like very, very briefly about who I am. What do I do? I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. I guess most of you saw my posts about this webinar on LinkedIn, and that's what brought you here. So what is our focus today? We're going to talk about a few things, keeping the time limit that we have in mind. So we're going to understand career acceleration. We're going to bust some common myths around career growth. And then I'm going to talk about the 3 pillars of the career accelerator formula, which are personal power, skills mastery, and implementation expertise. Okay, so these are the 3 important skills based on which my entire program is based. So I'm going to walk through these 3 things. And from each of these, I obviously cannot cover everything because it's a 4-month-long journey, but I will pick some things which I think are very important and which are the most common challenges that I see in most of my clients. So hopefully you'll be able to relate to that and you'll be able to go back and action on the things that I share from each of these pillars. Okay, and then we'll have Q&A towards the end. Now, how can you make the most of today? This is important. Okay, the first point is extremely important, so pay attention. I'm going to say things which will trigger you. Okay, I'm not here to please you. I'm not here to prove to anybody that I am good or bad or anything of that kind. I am here to help you. I am here to serve you. So I am going to say things which might trigger you. And you will say, what is she saying? Does this even make sense? This is not how it is. She's saying it is easy, but it is very complicated. I don't think I agree to this. So you will have these reactions. And I'm doing that on purpose because I know this is going to trigger you. So maximum growth will happen for you in 90 minutes when you identify your points of trigger. When your mind says, this can't happen, this is not me, this doesn't look real. I want you to note down that point because that is the area where you have to work and get a breakthrough. That could be the potential blocker, which is not allowing you to break free from whatever you are experiencing. Okay, so pay attention to whatever triggers you and make a note of it. And this will be different for different people, depending on what you have experienced through your life. The second important thing is, like I said, we'll address questions towards the end, and I will invite for insights and answers as I move along. But do use Zoom features. Raise your hand if you want to speak. Use emojis. If you're having aha moments, write it on the chat. Something that resonates with you, put it down because it might also help others to see what you have learned from what I have shared. So feel free to use reactions, emojis, chat. And if you have a question which you're not able to resist, raise your hand and we will see if I can address that in the moment. Okay, so keep sharing your aha moments. Stay undistracted. You're spending 90 minutes on yourself. So make sure that everybody knows at your home that you're going to spend 90 minutes here, and we will take a break in about 60 minutes. So you will have time to take a quick 5-minute break so that we can be comfortable during the 90 minutes. Okay, and then take notes. I will share the PDF on the group as well, but you are free to take notes. Listen to me. That is more important. I will also share the recording of this with all of you, whoever is here today. So focus on what I'm sharing, and as convenient, take notes, or you can listen back to the recording if you want. Engage and interact. That's always there, and be open to receive. Even if what I say doesn't make sense, be open to experiment, and then you can decide for yourself if that works for you or that doesn't work. Okay, so this is my invitation, and these are the things which will help you to make the most of your time that you're spending with me today. Now I'll just open up for a few, a couple of minutes. Does anybody has any question at this stage? Are we all good? Can you put it in the chat? How are you feeling right now? Good. Okay. Eager. Okay. Excited? Fantastic. Waiting to experiment? Okay. Yeah. All right, great. So I think everybody is excited, open, eager, and to move forward. So let's keep moving forward because there's so many things that I want to share. Now, before we do that, let's have some fun as well. So I want all of you to, I'm going to share my whiteboard. Okay. And all of you will be able to annotate on this whiteboard. So I don't know how far away was the last time when we drew something. So I want all of you to use this whiteboard. You all have permission to draw something that represents you, that describes you. Okay, and we'll all do it together. So we'll see what khichdi is coming up on the whiteboard. So find a space for yourself on the whiteboard and annotate. And you could be good at drawing, you could not be good at drawing, the name is not going to come. So just go ahead and use your creative self to draw something that inspires you, that describes you, anything. So let's do that. We have about, it's 6:20, so let's use 2-3 minutes to see what evolves. Are you all able to use the whiteboard and annotate? Yes, I can see people doing that. Okay. It is showing the names as well, but that's fine.
Hi, Deepa, can't find the drawing tool.
You can go to view options. And in that, if you're joining on a laptop, then you will see annotate. If you're on a phone, then there is a, like a pen on your phone. You can use that as well.
So yeah, I'm not good at drawing. That's the reason I just mentioned, over a text that I am kind of a negative person, or I'm kind of, person who overthink. So yeah, that's two
Okay.
things that I identified so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate that. See, that's also writing and annotating. So it means that you can write, you can draw. Even writing is drawing. Yeah, it is. You drew that beautiful rectangle, isn't it? So I think we put all of these restrictions on ourselves. I can't do it. You can do it. All right. Fantastic. I think all of us have experimented a little bit, and hopefully all of you could find the pen and the annotate um, uh, feature of Zoom. If not, well, that's a thing to learn probably for the next time. So thank you so much for indulging me, for going with what I am saying. So I see a sun, I see a house. That's the best I can draw as well. And a tree, which is beautiful. I see a beautiful flower on a beach. And is that a leaf? Okay, beautiful. And then there is the rising sun, or what is it? Swati, you want to explain what you've drawn? Fantastic. So appreciate taking the risk of showing your drawing skills, because that's the biggest resistance that all of us have. What will people say when they see what I'm doing or how I draw and all of that stuff, right? So it's okay. It's okay. Whenever somebody tells me draw something, I have a scenery in my head, and that's the only scenery I've been drawing for the last 50 years. So it's okay. That's who we are, and that's what we can draw. So there is no good or bad about it. All right. So did you enjoy this activity? Let's see some emojis. There is a reactions section on your Zoom bar, wherever it is, top or bottom. So let's see some reactions. Let's learn Zoom also as we are moving forward. Okay, I see a few thumbs up. What else? What other emojis can you? Okay, Subarna is laughing, having fun. Great. Okay, excellent. So let's move forward. I'm going to go back and share my screen. So we just did this. Now starts the most important thing. What do you think is the reason that we stop growing? Put it in the chat. What comes to your mind as the biggest reason that stops us from growing? Let's see what we think. Fear of failing, not trying, lack of nourishment. Okay, that's interesting. Not ready for a change. Yes. Straightforward, comfort zone. Okay. Yeah, pressure. Absolutely. All of these are absolutely correct. They are correct because that's your experience. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. Everything is our own experience of how we have lived life. So, but if we consolidate and if we look at the biggest reason that stops us from growing, generally people say it's the skills, the lack of skills. I don't have the skills. I am not perfect enough. And I don't know what to do in my next job description or my next role. So we think it is the skills that stop us from growing, but actually it's the resistance. Everything that we know we should be doing, there is something stopping us from doing that, isn't it? Pick health. So I know I should be getting up in the morning, going for that walk or joining some class, doing some yoga because it is needed. I know it is right for me. But then the snooze keeps working day after day. There is some resistance within me which is not allowing me to get up and go for a walk. With respect to career, I know I have to talk to my boss and ask for that hike or the promotion. But there is something within me that stops me from doing that. There is some resistance within me. So what stops us from growing is not skills, is not certifications, is not your boss, is not your HR. What stops us from growing is the resistance to the things that we know we have to do, but we don't do. Right? So after we wrap up today, it would be a good idea to go back and reflect on what have you been resisting in your career? What are some areas that you've been resisting or avoiding, which you know you have to do? It could be a conversation, it could be a, it could be applying for a new job, it could be preparing for a certain thing, anything. So what have you been resisting? Okay. All right. Now, here's the interesting thing. I'm going to put up one myth after the other, and then I want all of you to put on the chat whether it is true or false. Okay, so we'll go one by one, and we will see what happens. My passion needs to be my profession for me to enjoy my career. Is this true or false? Or all of you unmute yourself. Let's have some fun. Just everybody unmute and I will hear whether most people are saying true or false. So just based on what comes to your mind, let's just try saying it. Okay, so my passion needs to be my profession for me to enjoy my career. True or false?
True. I feel so.
True.
Okay, so I'm hearing true. Okay. Having a bunch of certifications can help me grow. True or false?
False.
False.
False. Okay.
False.
Oh, everybody is false. Okay. As I age, it is difficult to find jobs, so I should focus on security and stay where I am. True or false?
False.
False. Partially.
Yeah.
True. Partially true and false. Partially.
There is no partial true or false. It is either true or it is false. There is no
I think it's a false.
Okay, we are choosing false. Okay. Degrees from reputed institutes are a must if I want to be successful.
False. False.
Okay. This is a unanimous group. Have all of you come together beforehand to decide?
False.
All right.
False.
There is never enough time to do what I want.
False.
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 Really? Okay. The HR and my boss control my career growth.
No, false.
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 I
True.
have a very empowered group. Oh, I heard one true. Okay. Either I am good or I play politics.
False.
Oh,
False.
true. So many people do this. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
this
many
is,
people do this. Yeah.
yeah.
True.
So
Statement
this
is not
is,
clear to me. Deepa's statement is not clear to me. What does it say?
so,
Either I'm
so there is office politics. Like we all understand there is office politics. As you keep moving upward, there is more and more office politics. Now, the most common reason that I have seen people come to me and say is they say, Deepa, I'm a very good person. So I don't play politics. I hate politics. So the myth is either I can be a good person or I can play politics.
false.
Okay. Next one. My boss can be my biggest ally.
False.
False.
True.
Wow.
True.
Okay.
True.
True.
Okay. Sponsors are a must to grow.
False.
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 False. Okay. I need to apply for hundreds of jobs to land one.
False.
True. True.
True.
True. I have got people who have applied for 200, 250 jobs and they have not got even a single interview call. Okay. Okay. Talking about myself or my work is cheap and salesy.
True.
False.
False.
Okay.
True. True.
True. Which one?
Talking about myself, I avoid this.
You avoid this. Okay.
Except in select groups where I'm comfortable.
Okay. I lack willpower and I am indisciplined if I am unable to take actions.
True. If I'm not taking action.
Yeah. True.
Okay. If I get good money, I will be happy and fulfilled.
No.
False.
False.
Okay.
There are other
Fantastic.
dimensions to life.
There are other dimensions to life. So I'm going to now tell you what is true, what is false based on my experience and see whether you resonate or if you have the same understanding or, you have a difference. That's okay, even if you have a difference. So my passion needs to be my profession for me to enjoy my career. False. Having a bunch of certifications can help me grow. False. As I age, it is difficult to find jobs, so I should focus on security and stay where I am. False. Degrees from reputed institutes are a must if I want to be successful. False. There is never enough time to do what I want. False. The HR and my boss control my career growth. False. Now I'm realizing the answers are all false. Huh? Either I am good or I play politics. False. My boss can be my biggest ally. 100% true. Sponsors are a must to grow. 150% true. I need to apply for hundreds of jobs to land one. 100% false. Talking about myself or my work is cheap and salesy. False. I lack willpower and I am indisciplined if I am unable to take actions. False. If I get good money, I will be happy and fulfilled. I think we were unanimous in this. It's a false. Okay. So I hope, there were certain areas where we were unanimous and that's how it is. But there were also certain other areas where we felt it was true or false and the answer could be otherwise. So just make a note of whatever you are able to extract from here, keep it with you. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them towards the end because you might get answers as we are moving forward as well. So I'm not going to elaborate on anything. We'll keep moving forward. Is that okay? Okay. All right. So now have you seen this figure? Have all of you seen this somewhere? Have you heard about this word called ikigai?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have heard about it, but not explored it. Yeah.
Okay. So ikigai is a Japanese word which signifies our purpose for getting up every day, our purpose of life. That's the meaning of ikigai. And ideally, how it is related to is what you're doing every day has to be a combination of your passion, profession, vocation, and mission. So if you find your sweet spot, and if you're able to identify something that's your passion, what you love doing, you're good at it, you're earning for it, and the world needs it, we call it an ikigai. Okay, but it's not always possible. Like I said, falls to the first statement. Your passion cannot always become your profession. So my take on this is that we have to make our life an ikigai. The objective of living a full balanced life is to integrate different aspects of our life so that we are doing everything here. We do what we love, we are good, we experience what we're good at. We also get paid for the things that we can offer, and we meet a market demand. So in some way or the other, if you can integrate your life in a way that you are integrating all of these four things, then you are living a life of purpose. The biggest myth and misinterpretation that people make is they try to find that one job which will, meet all of these four things. Some people find it, it is fantastic, but most people don't. And that's why they remain frustrated, dissatisfied, unfulfilled. So my job as a career coach is to help you find ikigai with the job that you're doing, with the skills that you have. That's the purpose of living a complete, fulfilled life. Okay. So how are we doing on time? Okay, it's 6:40. So I'm going to quickly skip this because let's keep moving forward. However, these could be questions that you would want to go back and reflect on. You can make a note of these questions, take a screenshot, take a picture, whatever works for you. What does career acceleration mean to you? Now, this has different meanings for different people. I'll take a few seconds to talk about this. Identify what is your biggest challenge. For how long have you been experiencing this challenge? This is extremely important. And then the last one is even more important. So what price have you paid for not addressing this challenge? And I'll give you an example. So if I have, clients who've been working in a specific job for 20 years. They have been unfulfilled for the last 8 years. They've been thinking about moving and shifting jobs, but for whatever reasons, they have not taken any action. So the price that they have paid is the 8 years of their life, right? I had a client who moved and transitioned in order to find ikigai and brand to an aspect or a skill that was not his passion. It was not his natural, it was not his strength, but because it was popular in the market, the shining object syndrome, he switched and he spent the next 7 to 8 years trying to ramp up on that skill. And then after 7 years, he realized that it's not what I can do best. And now he wants to go back to what he was doing 7 years before. So sometimes we keep delaying the action that we know, or we get stuck in the FOMO, fear of missing out, or we have the shining object syndrome. Everybody's working on something, so I need to work on it. Now that's the most destructive way of identifying what's the next best thing for you. Okay, so these are very, very important questions, and career acceleration, what I've discovered over the last 6 years means very different things to different people. For some, it's a job, change in job. For some, it could be a promotion within the same job. For some, it could be finding clarity in what I want to do next. For some, it could be leaving and sitting at home and addressing the priorities in their life as well. So when we give generic meanings to all of these words, and then we are with our closed eyes pursuing that generic meaning that we have heard, then we have lost it. Like we have lost the game of acceleration, right? So we've been conditioned to believe what is success. How should we live a life? There is a timeline that all of us have been taught to follow. By this age, do this, by this age, do this, by this age, do this, then do this, then do this. If you're following the timeline, you are a successful person. If you're not following the timeline, you're called a failure. But do we have it in us to create our own timelines? That's what career acceleration means. Can you find out for yourself, what does career acceleration mean to me? And then you design your entire career according to that. And this meaning could change over time. That's also possible. And that's absolutely normal. Okay. So let's move to the 3 pillars of the career accelerator formula, because they are very critical, and I'm skipping some portions because I want to cover the maximum that I can in the time that I have. So the three pillars of Career Accelerator Formula are personal power, skills mastery, and implementation expertise. These are the three pillars, and they can absolutely transform your life if you approach them in a step-by-step manner. So let's go through each pillar and let's discover what is within each of these pillars. So personal power. Now, personal power to me is like a foundation of a building. Okay, so if you want to build a 40-story building, you have to spend the time to build the foundation so that it can hold 40 stories. If we are quick in foundation and we just say, Are, itna time nahi hai, we need to deliver this building in 2 months. So I'm going to just spend like 1 day to build a foundation. Your building is going to fall. These smallest trigger happens, a smallest thing happens, the building is going to fall down because the foundation is not strong enough to hold that building. So personal power is something similar. Personal power is how strong is our foundation. So if you want to build a career, you want to accelerate, you want to earn 60 lakhs, per annum, you want to be the senior vice president, you want to start your own company, you want to switch jobs. Can you do that? Do you have the foundation to do that? If you don't spend the time to build your foundation, even if you get that goal that you're pursuing, you will face a lot of challenges while you are delivering on that goal. Okay, so I have a client, I'm working with her right now. She's taken a 10-month break to work on herself. She is strengthening her personal power so much that she can rebound and then she can get into roles that are unimaginable. And it's okay to do that. Okay, so personal power, remember, as the foundation of a building. The higher the building that you want to build, the deeper the foundation has to go. Now, to talk about this, let me tell you all a story. Okay, so this story is about three friends. Now, they were very, very close friends, but they hadn't met for a long time. So they said, okay, we are going to go and have fun. So all of them decide to meet in a place called Varanasi. Have you all heard about Varanasi? It's in Uttar Pradesh. There are some beautiful ghats on Varanasi. So these three friends, they decide that we are going to meet and we're going to have fun. So the three of them, they meet, they go to a ghat and they say, okay, we're going to hire a boat and then we're going to do boating the entire night. There's such beautiful lights and the city looks so beautiful at night. So we're going to take turn by turn and we're going to row the boat and we will explore the city. So all of them say, okay, that sounds fun. Let's do that. And Banaras is also famous for bhang. Okay, so bhang is generally something that we have during Holi, but these three friends are in a mood, they want to have fun. So they said, okay, we'll have bhang also. So they buy bhang and they get on the boat. They also take bhang and then they start rowing. They start rowing and they start rowing and they start rowing. It's like deep night, they're seeing the lights. And then in the morning, the sun comes and they look around and they say, oh, nothing has changed. We have been rowing the entire night, but we are still where we started from. So my question to you is, can somebody decode what happened? Why are they where they were when they began rowing the previous night? Anything that comes to your mind?
They never untied the boat.
Yeah,
That
that's right.
Yeah.
Smart people here, huh? Yeah. So there is an anchor and there is a rope which you have to untie to move the boat forward. But they didn't untie that rope. They did everything in their power. They were rowing. They spent 8 hours rowing the boat, but the boat didn't move. So unless you untie your boat, and here the boat could signify your career. So your career is tied to an anchor, and the rope signifies all the disempowering beliefs that you're carrying, all the mindset limitations that you put on yourself, all the I can't and I am not that you have created for yourself, all the narratives that you've been telling yourself over and over again. All of these things signify the rope here. Unless you untie yourself and then takes the right action, your boat is not going to move. You can slog. I have clients who come to me and they're working like crazy 14 hours every day. I had a client recently, he finished his journey. So he came to me and he wanted to get promoted. That was his goal. And at the end of the, our journey, I asked him, what was your biggest takeaway? Like what happened? He said, Deepa, my productivity has increased by 50%. So things that he could do in 8 hours, he finishes in 4 hours. And then he is able to close his laptop at 6 p.m. And he's a senior leader. So this whole myth that we have around working hard and slogging and all of that stuff is like not untying your boat to move forward. We need to upgrade yourself. Okay, so it's so crucial to discover. And personal power, now what I'm going to share could be like, find what are you able to relate with in this list of things which become your personal power. Okay, so what are the components of personal power? The components of personal power are your belief system. Okay, and it belief system in itself is a whole module, so I'm not going to elaborate on this, but what you believe, you become. It's as simple as that. Your identity and ego, your values, your fears, your assumptions, your perspectives, your ikigai, your self-esteem and your self-worth, the self-love. What do you feel for yourself when you think of yourself? Strengths, your areas of improvements, the clarity around your goals, understanding what is the purpose, like where are you moving, what are your midterm, short-term and long-term goals, and what are your priorities. Emotional vocabulary, my God, I cannot emphasize the importance of learning to identify and name your emotions. We live our life in 4 or 5 emotions. I'm sad, I am happy, I am angry, I'm frustrated, I am scared, probably, or I'm hurt. We just have that vocabulary. And everything falls within those 7, 8 emotions that we have learned. So it's so critical to identify and increase your vocabulary so that once you understand what you're feeling correctly, you can then take actions. Okay? Then knowing how your mind works. We have this machine given to us, such a beautiful machine given by God. We have the ability to tap into our own machinery to work for us. Right now, our machinery is working against us. So can you understand how does our mind work? When does it support us? Why does it say what it says? And then how can I undo all the harm that has already been caused, right? Understanding your triggers and patterns. Now, this is very, very important. If a pattern, for example, a client recently, I've started working with him today, and he said, I have a pattern of getting bad bosses. That's a very common pattern that a lot of people experience, bad bosses. Now, it's not that you are bad or that person is bad, but there is something that needs to happen for you to break through that pattern. Shifting jobs will not change that pattern. You will find the worst boss in the best organization. There are all kinds of people everywhere. So if there is a pattern which is repeating, the first step is to identify that pattern. Then ask yourself, what am I not seeing? And then you break through that pattern. Okay. And then, so these are the different components. If you want to click a picture, if you want to, explore it later on, you can do that. But this is what in my system forms your personal power. And this is 95% of your operating system. 5% is our conscious mind, 95% is your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind has all of these things, right? So it's like, this is the rope. You could be rowing with your conscious mind, but if you don't work on these things, the boat is not going to move forward. Now, what kind of statements do we tell ourselves which demonstrates low personal powers? It could be, I lack willpower. Remember the myth that I had said that if I lack willpower and I procrastinate, it means that I am not good enough. That's not true. If you lack willpower and you procrastinate, it means there is an underlying reason to it. It could be a fear, it could be a perspective, it could be anything. Unless you address that root cause, the willpower will not solve a problem. And there is a limited quantity of willpower that we all get every day morning. So how soon do you consume that willpower determines the quality of your day. If you use all of your willpower to get up and go for a walk, then you are drained out already when you reach office. Right? So I lack willpower. I am indisciplined. I am a procrastinator. I am a perfectionist. I overthink. I think Ramesh said, I overthink. Right? So these are statements, I can't take decisions. If you're saying all of these things, which means that you have to work on building your personal power. Okay, Madhur, I'll come to you. I saw your hand. Let me just finish this part and then I'll come to you. Okay, so hold on to your question.
Ma'am, I said I'm a procrastinator. I don't want to
Okay.
interrupt you.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard these 5-6 statements from almost everyone. And we beat ourselves up so badly because we think I'm a procrastinator, I overthink, that is why I'm not getting breakthroughs, I need more willpower, I need to be disciplined, and we keep beating ourselves up again and again and again. But unless you address the root cause of why you are this, it's not going to change. So don't beat yourself up for it. Now, what happens with low personal power? What are the outcome? The outcome is low self-confidence, there is constant anxiety, there is constant self-doubt, we are letting go of opportunities, we are not being proactive, there is strong imposter syndrome. This is there so much more in women than men. There's a strong negativity bias, people pleasing, constantly trying to please people and do what others expect from us, fear of failure, working harder, procrastination, lack of discipline, risk avoidance. Somebody says, can you take up this opportunity? And we go like, give me 5 days and I'll come back, right? And in 5 days, the opportunity is gone. Nobody's going to wait for 5 days for you to say whether you want it or not. So risk avoidance, the need to keep proving ourselves, all of these are the impact of low personal power. Okay. And finally, what is the impact at work? Because of this is all that is happening to you. But what happens at work because of low personal power? You don't want to take decisions. You are perceived as a person who does not take decisions. You are not taking ownership. If there is a deliverable assigned to you, you're looking for people who can help you get it done. Right? We are not taking complete ownership or accountability of our deliverables. We are waiting to be led. So instead of leading people, we find excuses so that we are led by others because we are scared of leading. Imposter syndrome, self-doubt, all of that stuff comes in. Not perceived as thought leaders and problem solvers. This is the biggest challenge that most mid-senior professionals are facing these days. A lot of people come to me with the challenge, I want to break through to the next level. So I've done enough. I have 17 years experience, 18 years experience. I'm here. Now I want to break through into the next level. What do I do? Right? Now, the answer to that is simple. One statement. You have to be perceived as a leader. You have to be perceived as a decision maker. And you have to be perceived as a thought leader. If people don't see you like this, how are you going to break into the next level? Okay. And then there is no or low visibility. People don't know that you exist in the organization. You are scared of talking about yourself. And like we said, it looks cheap and salesy. So we just do our hard work and we hope that someone will notice our hard work. Right? And unable to ask for what you deserve. No promotion, no salary hike. In interviews, you settle for a lesser salary than what you could have got. So we leave money on the table. We don't apply for IJPs. We don't go out and seek sponsors who can take us with them as they are moving forward. So we don't ask, we just keep quiet. And it is not your fault. This is how we've been taught. This is the conditioning that we have received. This is culturally, we Indians are supposed to respect authority, not ask questions. So we are not at fault here, but this is how it is impacting us. So if we don't address these areas, it's going to address your career acceleration, right? And then the outcome finally is feeling constantly frustrated, unfulfilled. Okay, so this is what I see as impact, not pursuing a better job or an opportunity. I'll give you another example of a client. He knew he had to shift jobs, but he did not apply because what if I get rejected in the interview? What will I tell my family? What will I tell my friends? What will people think of me if I'm not selected in an interview? So the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of embarrassing, all of these things stop us from moving forward. And this is all personal power. Okay, so very quickly, I'll touch upon this because I want to move to the next section, which is equally important. Now, this is the identity trap. Okay, we all are sitting in a box and we've created a box around us, which is our identity. I am this, I cannot do this. For example, I am a perfectionist, I procrastinate, I am indisciplined, I lack willpower, I am ineffective at work, I'm not a great communicator. So I have this framework. This is who I believe I am, right? And just imagine to the person who's sitting in this box for years and years together. What's happening to him? He is losing the power to use his hands and legs. He's crunched inside the box. He can't even open up. So that's what we have become. We have limited our potential because we have boxed ourselves and we're sitting like this. Right? So now imagine what happens if you step outside the box. Now suddenly you have so much space. And I also want to say that the move from here to here is not drastic. Like you cannot immediately come out from this box to an open space. So it has to be a step-by-step process. It has to be a slow, gradual shift. Right? None of us can move from here to here. So we have to give ourselves the permission to experiment, to take chota risks, fail in some risks, succeed in some other risks, and slowly expand our identity. Instead of, just labeling ourselves as I am this and I am not this, we experiment and slowly expand our own perspectives of ourselves. So the movement from here to here is a step-by-step movement. But imagine when you are like, you have explored and you've realized and you're secure and you're safe, then what is the amount of work that you can deliver? What is the kind of potential that you can leverage? Right? So this is what I call the identity trap. It is part of your personal ego. And this is the most important thing, which shifts. You shift your identity, you will shift the way you show up in the world. Okay. And then the second thing that I wanted to share, which is very interesting. And here again, we will, we'll see what mind does because this is so powerful. Now you see a picture here. Okay. I want all of you to write down in the chat, what does this picture mean to you? What comes to your mind when you see this picture? Again, nothing is right or wrong. So this is a very safe space. So don't worry. Okay. Interesting. Swati, okay. Yeah, exclamation. That's what came to me when I first looked at it. Vertical growth on strong foundation. Wow, Madhur. Loved it. Okay. What else? What are you seeing here? Ah, a broken joint. All right. So I'm going to show the next picture, okay? What do you see here? Yeah, someone sees colors, someone sees there's a deviation from regular line, somebody's seeing biology, cells. Then there is a painted glass. Okay, all right. So let's look at the last picture. What comes to your mind when you see this? Human brain, fantastic. Algae, yeah, I know. Combination of many, okay. And the last picture, what comes to your mind when you see this picture? Painting, circles, cyclones, trials of life. Wow, okay. Yeah, a thought stuck in circles. Wow, okay, that's deep. Skies and clouds. Okay, yeah. Again, nothing is right or wrong. Can anybody tell me why are we doing this exercise? Any thoughts on what are we trying to do here?
Just to understand how the mind thinks.
Who's talking? Venu?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, okay. To understand how the mind thinks. Okay, what else?
Yeah. What are mind reading looking at?
Okay,
How it's identified people.
how it's identifying. Okay,
Perceptions.
sorry.
Yeah, perspectives.
Perspectives, absolutely. Yeah,
Ma'am, I felt that some of us have different answers to the same image. So that means you are implying as a coach that how our mindset and a successful person's mindset has a different mindset sometimes, and that brings him success. That is what
okay.
coming to mind. Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah. So all are right answers, because what in my mind, what I wanted to convey when I'm showing these different pictures, and it actually is very close to what Madhur said, is we all have different interpretations to the same picture. We are all sitting in the same session. We are all seeing the same picture together. Probably none of us have seen that picture before. The first thing is we could all give a meaning. Can you see that? Nobody said, I can't create a meaning of this picture. So we were all able to create a meaning, and each person's meaning is different. And how diverse. So our mind is such a beautiful part of our system, and it's constantly making meanings. It's called a meaning making machine, right? It helps you survive by making meanings. So I'll give an example. You had a feedback meeting with your boss yesterday, and it was not that great. Okay, there was some feedback that your boss gave, and it was things that you have to work on. Now, the next day you enter your office, right? You pass your boss, and you pass a smile, but she doesn't look at you. What's the meaning? What's the first thing that comes to our mind if something of this kind happens?
I have experienced this, and I felt that I think my days are numbered in this office, or might be she's not happy with my performance. This kind of sinking feeling, I've sat on my seat. There have been days.
Yeah, exactly. So your mind immediately created a meaning that I'm going to get laid off. My performance was not great. Either I'm going to get demoted or I'm going to get fired. Simple, straight meaning. And you carry that meaning with you in all your interactions with everybody in your office for that day and for days to come. And because you keep thinking on that meaning over and over again, and every time you see your boss, it becomes a reality. When I say reality to you, it becomes a fact. And when you start believing in that fact, you start performing accordingly. So your performance will go down. You will stop taking actions. You will stop being proactive. You will stop sharing your opinions. Kya fayda? I'm anyway getting fired. So just one meaning that you have created of one specific situation has led to your lower performance. It is not to do with your boss. It is not to do with her feedback, nothing. It's your mind which is doing that. Right? At the same time, we could have given a better empowering meaning, saying that, oh, she probably had a bad day and she didn't look at me. So I'm just going to go and again have a conversation. Simple.
Deepa,
But-
adding to this, if in our interactions, if the colleagues or anyone add to that point, so it becomes like a meaningful, like, yes, it is correct. And this is not mine intention. It's all like all the intentions will be like purpose will be done.
Yeah.
So we get demotivated, obviously.
Obviously. And you seek the company. So for example, if you think now, see, you have created the meaning and you think your boss is biased. She doesn't understand what you're doing. You're working so hard. She doesn't appreciate you. She doesn't acknowledge you. Now you go and talk about this during your water cooler discussions, coffee discussions. You find opportunities because you have to bring it out. So, so it might not be you, but it could be somebody else who's doing this. And the topic of the conversation is, this place is rotten. The culture is bad. It doesn't work for me. Where is this all coming from? It's coming from one person's meaning of a specific situation that they gave.
True.
Right? And our mind is doing this non-stop, 24/7, 365 days, multiply your age. Right? So understanding how to address that changes your life. If you can just do one shift in this perspective, it's going to change your life. Absolutely, 100%. But it's not as direct as I am saying, ki haan, socha aur change ho gaya. It's work. It's a process. It's a step-by-step way to get there. Right? But I wanted to emphasize and make you aware that this is happening all the time.
Ma'am, okay, just to next time after listening to you, I will be 20 or 30% more positive, thinking like, okay, this is under my control. I'll keep my positive vibes. Whatever happen, it will happen, but I'll keep my positive vibes.
Yeah. That's called being mindful.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
Mindfulness is such a big in thing these days. Everybody's talking about mindfulness. But what does mindfulness even mean? This is being mindful of what is happening here, because that can change the game. Right? So I've just put together a few, okay, one more important thing, you are not your thoughts. Because we are thinking, so there's a thought that has come up which says, I'm useless. Right? That's a thought. It comes to me also. Right? And then just because I'm thinking I'm useless doesn't mean I'm useless. But what we do is, if there is a thought, it is true. So the most important thing that I want to convey is you are not your thoughts. You have the power to observe your thoughts. Become an awareness so that you can choose what you want to choose from what you're thinking. Again, it's a process. Okay. Now, just random example. So you call up your boss, she doesn't pick up your phone. What meanings are you giving? You message a friend, she doesn't reply. What meanings are you giving? You pass someone on the way to your desk, they don't return your smile. You are passed up for a promotion. What meanings are you giving? You are rejected in a job interview. What meanings are you giving? These things happen with us every single day. People don't post on LinkedIn because nobody will like my post. And if people don't like my post or there's just 2 likes, then that means I am wrong. I don't know enough. I can't post, and all the story in our head. So people don't post. Right? So these are very, very common situations that are happening with us day in and day out. And we are constantly creating meanings of these situations. So my invitation to all of you is to be aware. Right? And then what happens when you build your personal power? You know your priorities. You take bold actions. You are fulfilled, happy, and more at ease. And you are kinder and more compassionate with yourself. You allow yourself to make mistakes. Isn't that a life that we all want to live? Not beating ourselves up day in and day out, but giving ourselves the permission to be kind to ourselves. Right? So if you work on your personal power, so in my 4 months journey that I take with my clients, almost 4 to 6 weeks, it's focus on personal power. Because if you can work on this for 6 weeks, the rest of the things are easy. Right? That is the importance of, and that is why even today, I have taken more time on this than I will do on the other two. Because this is the core. We don't talk about it as often as we should. We focus only on the skills. Acha, time management, negotiation, conflict management, priority management, influencing. We keep getting trained on skills every single day. But nobody uses those skills at work. Because we forget that to use those skills, you need power. And that is missing. Right? All right. So let's move to the next. How are we doing on time? So should we take a quick 5-minute break? Or if everybody is okay, we can continue whatever everybody decides. Let's take a quick break. I think some people would want it. So let's take a 5-minute break and let's come back. It's 7:10. So we'll come back as soon as possible, maximum 7:15. Okay. And then we will continue with the second half of the session. And before I move on to the next pillar, I wanted to also share that we've seen what personal power is. Now, how do you address this? What are the things that you do to make it stronger for yourself, to get that personal power? So, some of the things are practicing mindfulness, thought journaling. These journaling is such a critical exercise that all of us should do because it just opens up the world. It opens up our internal world to ourselves if you do it the right way. So mindfulness, meditation, journaling, reframing, looking at what I'm thinking and then reframing it so that it serves us. Identifying what are your needs, what needs are being met or unmet, and how are you working towards meeting those needs. That's another very important way of doing it. And then the bottom line, if you work on this one thing, everything else will fall in place. And that is working on your self-worth and the level of deservingness. I'm going to say that again. Working on your self-worth and your level of deservingness. What do you think you deserve? Forget the world. It's always about you will get results based on your own perception of deservingness for yourself. Oh, I don't deserve that. I'm still not there. I don't know any of those things. How are you going to get anything if that's the self-talk that you create for yourself? So it's not the external world that decides the results that you get. It's your own perception of your self-worth and deservingness that decides what you get or don't get. So these are some things that we have to work on continuously. And the work is to keep doing the work. You cannot stop the work. It's not that, okay, I have worked for 4 months, so now I can't do the work. You will go back to that same original state. Okay, but yeah, to take forward steps, these are some things. And I'll also talk about them when we come to the third pillar, which is all about implementation, right? So none of this will change if you don't implement anything. Okay, so let's keep moving on. All right. So the second pillar is the skills mastery. Now that you have worked on your personal power, you've built a strong foundation, you have worked on your self-worth, you've worked on your deservingness level, you have worked on the fears that you have that you've been living with for so long, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of success. This is a very, very, very common fear that none of us know. So once you've worked on all of those things and you're working on these on a regular basis, now we can move into the skills part of it, because the skills are also a very, very critical component to help you stand out and get the results that you want and to work on your career. So what are some skills that are very, very important? So it's time management, managing your emotions, something that we don't talk about as much, but very important. Personal branding, non-negotiable in today's world, both online and offline. Building visibility and networking. Now, networking, I'm going to share a template today which will help you to plan for networking. Most of us think of networking as swapping visiting cards. Now, the days are over of swapping visiting cards. Networking is all about building relationships. It's not about what can you do for me. Most of the time we network with someone because we are thinking, okay, wo mere ko kya de sakta hai? What is that person going to give me? What is the result of meeting this person? Nowadays, networking is all about building your relationship and changing our mindset to help the other person. Okay, so managing up. This is such a core module of what I work with my coaches. It's easy to work with your team members because you have the authority, you are in a powerful role, they will listen to you, right? So we use our authority to get work done by our team. But what about the people above you? What about the people who are at your level, the peers? At mid to senior level, your growth is dependent on your peers and people above you. So if you're not managing those people, especially your boss, then you're going to remain stuck. So managing up is such a core module and is such an important aspect of working on your skill like constantly. Then handling politics at work. The statement that I made that I can either be a good person or I play office politics is a false statement. There is office politics. Now you have to learn to navigate the politics. You cannot say, I hate politics, so I'm not going to get involved. You will be left behind. Right? So then again, it's not blaming someone for doing something. Are you equipped to handle what is happening at work? So managing politics, navigating politics at work is such a core skill that leaders need to build. Powerful communication. Again, we have a very, we think speaking is communication. If I can talk good English, then I'm a good communicator. Again, a big myth. Communication is about, the real meaning of communication is the response that you get. How good communicator you are is dependent on the response that you're getting with the person that you're communicating. It's not about your English. It's not about your grammatical errors. It's not about how fluent or not fluent you are. None of that matters. So a lot of times we stay stuck because we think we can't talk good English. Again, that's like just an excuse. Okay, influencing. What is the meaning of influencing? Now, influencing means that you get someone to do the work that you want them to do with them thinking that they want to do it. That's influencing. It's not using authority. It's not taking a stick and saying, do it, do it, do it. Otherwise, you'll not get a rating. You'll not get a promotion. That's not influencing. All the leaders, they stand up on the dais and you are influenced. How do they do it? It's a skill. All of these are a skill. None of us are born with these skills. But we have the option to learn these skills, right? And then job search, my God, people make such big mistakes in job search. We think we will apply and we'll get a call. It doesn't work like that. And that is why we apply for hundreds and hundreds of jobs and we are not able to land any job. And from mid to senior level, the whole process of job search is very different from the junior level. So if you're not smart enough about how to approach the job search, then you're going to be stuck and tired and drained, and you'll not even have a job. So these are skills. This is not magic. This is not anything. These are skills that we have to learn because they'll help you to elevate your, your level, and you will not have to work as hard because you're working smart. Right? So I can't cover all of these skills because this is exactly what we do in the journey, but I want to talk about 2-3 important things. One is boss test. So I'm going to literally share something that I do only for my clients, but I'm going to do it here because this is such an important aspect. So I'm going to clear the drawing. Okay, so here is what I'm going to share now will help you understand where are you in your relationship with your boss, right? And when I'm working like in the journey with my coaches, then we create a plan and we strategize and we take action. But here I'm just going to help you first identify. Okay, so these are the 4 quadrants. The X quadrant here is vocal or quiet. Okay, and the Y quadrant is positive or negative. Okay, now what does this even mean? What this means is if your boss is vocal and positive, so the perception that your boss has of you is positive and she is vocal about it. And she is now a common gender to use. So it doesn't mean there's a lady boss. She just means, we don't say he, we say she. So that's why I'm using she. So if your boss is positive about you and they are vocal about it, they're talking about you, they are, taking you along, they are discussing about your performance with their peers and their bosses. If they are doing that, you are in a power zone. Okay. Now, if your boss is positive, but they might be quiet, right? They have they have a good perception of you, but they don't talk about you. They are just keeping it to themselves. When people ask, they are very skeptical to share. They don't talk about you in closed rooms. Then you are at a foundation stage. Okay, because they have a positive perception, but they're not vocal about it. What is the point of having a positive perception if they're not going to help you move forward? Okay, now on the other side, if they are quiet and they are negative, so you know that you have had difficult situations with your boss, they do not think so highly of you. We get those vibes when we talk to our bosses, and they are quiet about it. So they are neither speaking good of you, nor they are speaking bad of you, right? Then you are in a danger zone. Because at any moment, they can open up and share, right? So that's a danger zone. Now, the 4th quadrant is when they are negative and they are vocal. So they are going on spreading their perception of you with their peers, with their bosses. They're giving feedback openly. They are writing emails. They're very vocal about the perception that they have of you, right? And sometimes this could be a very toxic environment to work with. And I'm not saying mark my words, I'm saying perception. I'm not saying this is who you are. So don't make your perceptions your identity. Again, it will become a box. Your boss's relationship with you is all about perception management. Okay. So if they have a negative perception of you and they are vocal about it, the only way that I recommend is run away from that place. Do not invest time and energy to work on this relationship because it is toxic. You will need a lot of effort and energy to turn it around. Right? So it could be an IJP, you move to the next department, you change your job, you move outside, you do whatever you want. But this is the zone, and this zone you can come from any quadrant. So this is not like a step-by-step process that, based on your situation, based on the project, based on the person, you could be in any quadrant at any time. But knowing where you are empowers and gives you the power to take the right actions. Right? So this is what I call the boss test. Now, I have a set of questions, that you rate on, and that will exactly tell you where you are. But, that's for later. But right now, if you close your eyes, and you can do that after we finish, just imagine you to be your boss. Imagine yourself to be in your boss shoes and see what quadrant you think yourself to be in. You will get the answer, and don't deny that answer. Okay, so this is the boss test. This is how you determine your current relationship with your boss, the baseline from where you have to start. Okay, all right. Now, let's move to something which is, yeah, Sirisha, go ahead.
Deepa, if we are in a positive quadrant, like the Q4, the positive and vocal and negative vocal. So in that case, how do we deal with? So the like 2 months back, it was like a positive vocal, but later it has shifted to positive like vocal and negative. So in that case, how do we deal with that?
Yeah, so that's a strategy, right? You need to understand what is happening, what has shifted, what is triggering your boss, what are their KPIs, and what is important for them. Obviously, there is something happened which has shifted. So you need to go back, reflect, and take appropriate action. Sometimes it could just be an open communication. Sometimes it could be your brand which is not working for you. So we need to go to the deep of what is causing this state. Why has it changed? And then you create a strategy around it. There's no one answer to move from any quadrant to any quadrant, because it is very, very dependent on the person that you're working with, the person you are, and then the environment that you're working with.
Deepa, I have a question.
Sure.
What about, say, you're doing 10 things and out of which your boss is picking only the 3 where you might have failed? You're trying to highlight the 7 you've done right, but they are kind of refusing to look at it. So
Yeah.
How do you interpret that?
Yeah, so that's again a situation, right? Now, all of this is based on how are you building your visibility.
Okay. And the weird part is that other than my boss, obviously there are other people in the ecosystem who are senior and maybe even more senior than him. They have a more positive perception of me. But it is ultimately, as you said, how much is my boss going to back me, which is going to take me to the next level. But this builds a very weird dynamics that other people are seeing those 7 positive things I've done, and my boss is trying to highlight the 3 that I have not done, and it gives me very mixed signals.
Now, here's a very interesting thing, okay? Your boss is a human being, absolutely, and your boss has their own KPIs. Yeah. The peers that are appreciating you for the 7 things, they don't care whether you have done or not done those 3 things, isn't it? They are looking at you because they're outside of the environment in which you are working. Okay. Your boss is directly responsible for your deliverables. If the 3 things that you have missed form 20% the Pareto's principle, it doesn't matter if you have done 100 good things.
Okay.
You have to understand your boss's priorities. That's a smart way of working.
Mm-hmm. Understand it. No, yeah. So I think I will not go further into my particular situation because here I'm not delivering to my boss. Actually, I'm delivering to someone else, and so it's a different, slightly different situation. Yeah.
Yeah, but whoever is responsible for your growth in the organization, you need to understand that person and their priorities, and you have to align, and that's what is called stakeholder management.
Yeah.
Who are the important? Yeah, who are the important stakeholders, and then how do you build a plan and how do you manage your stakeholders in your ecosystem? Right. So next up, let me show you a template. Now, networking, like I said, is a very, very misunderstood portion. So I'm going to share, and I'll share this on the group as well. So I work with my coaches to build this, which I call the relationship action plan. It's a strategic way of building relationships aligned to your goals. You have to work on every skill aligned to the goal that you have. You cannot work on any skill ad hoc. Okay, so very quickly, there are three ways of looking at this plan. So one is opportunity relationship planning, relational learning, and then there are lifeline relationships. Okay. So what is opportunity relationship planning? For example, you're working on your communication skills. That's a goal that you have, right? Now, opportunity relationship planning is people who can help you open up the opportunities so that you can work on this goal. Okay. It's not about skills. So these are not the people who are training you for it. These are the people who could open up opportunities for you. That's opportunity relationship planning. And then there are columns here. Relational learning is reaching out to people who will help you build the skill. So for example, if you're looking for a job, who can open up job opportunities? So if you're in supply chain, doesn't mean that you need to reach out to supply chain specialists to, to open up opportunities for you. A person in a manufacturing sector, or say in a, a custom software development sector, can open up opportunities for you. So the difference between this and this is you need to create a network of people who will, one, open up opportunities, and second, help you build the skills. And then the third, which is very, very important, is what I call the lifeline relationships. Now, lifeline relationships is outside of your personal, your professional environment. Lifeline relationships could be just 2-3 people. But these are the people who nurture you. These are the people that you go to whenever you need. They are available to you and they push you. So in difficult times, if you say, oh, I'm not getting a promotion, I'm stuck, they are not the people who will come and say, yeah, I understand you are working with a messy boss and you work in a toxic environment. It is okay. Sab change ho jayega. No. Those are people who give you comfort. And 99% of the people only give us comfort. हाँ ठीक है चलेगा होने दो सब ठीक हो जाएगा. That's not what you want when you're going through a challenge. So people who nurture you, people who push you, people who party with you at 12 and wake you up at 5 to go for that run. Those are the kind of people who become your lifeline. Right? They carry you from one level to the other. And it is so, so important to have, even if you have one person who's that. Identify that one person and make sure that you have them in your network. So investing in building your relationships, that is so crucial to anything that you're doing in life, whether it is career or your life. Right? So okay. And then the third thing that I wanted to talk about was the elevator pitch, which I'm going to skip again in interest of time, but I'll share very quickly and I'll send this on the group so you can create your own elevator pitch. Now, why is this important? Because if somebody asks you, who are you? Tell me about yourself. And then we start. We'll go on for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. We will tell our entire history, geography. Even if you're appearing for an interview, it keeps going on and on and on. Now, elevator pitch is something that you should have. As a leader, you need to have an elevator pitch. And it is very simple. You should practice it and repeat it for yourself in front of the mirror so many times that you can say it in your dreams. That's the significance of elevator pitch. How do you create it? It's a simple 3-step process. Your LinkedIn profile headline should be an elevator pitch. Most people just put their designation. That's the biggest mistake that we do in our online branding. But anyway, that's for some other day. So elevator pitch is about who are you? Who do you help? It's not about you. We make everything about me. It's about who are you helping? And then how are they benefiting from what you are offering? That becomes your elevator pitch. People don't want to listen to your history. People want to see how are you going to impact them? What change are you going to bring in for them? How are your skills useful for them? So for example, I am a CIO who helps companies optimize their IT resources so they can increase revenue and reduce cost. I am a career acceleration expert helping corporate leaders accelerate their careers through a unique, proven step-by-step system called Career Accelerator Formula. You will not hear anything about me except I'm a career acceleration expert. Even if you go to my About Us on LinkedIn, It is not about me. There are 3 lines that introduce me. Everything else is about how am I helping people. So elevator pitch is a 3-step process, and get it right. And it can be different for different situations. So you could have an elevator pitch for your boss or for your professional network. You could have an elevator pitch for a 5-year-old boy or a girl who comes and asks you, auntie or uncle, what do you do? Right? So we have to apply ourselves when we are implementing what we are learning here. So the elevator pitch is different for different circumstances, different situations, different set of people that we work with. Okay. So what is the third pillar? The third pillar is the implementation expertise. And before I go there, I want to take just a minute to share what do I do? What are my different offerings? So basically, I do one-on-one journeys for very senior clients, people who are, or it could be people who are facing very specific challenge. So then I do one-on-one journeys for them. There are group journeys for most mid to senior people, where I form a small group of 5 people, and then we get together and go on a journey. And it's very interesting when different perspectives come together and different learnings emerge from group journeys. And this group journey also includes one-on-one sessions and group sessions. So it's a combination of both. And then I do one-on-one sessions. So it could be like a random, suddenly someone came to me and said, I just want your help to prepare my resume. So that's like a 1 or 2 sessions that they want. That's something that I do. I do corporate workshops. I've done corporate workshops. I do keynote sessions. So if your organizations are looking for speakers, reach out to me. I'll be happy to come and do keynote sessions. And then I do open workshops like these, where it's open and, I market on LinkedIn, and then people who are interested, they join my workshop. So everything career from mid to senior. So that's my specialty. That's my niche. And that's what I have experience in. That's what I do. And I run through the program. So what are some of the possible outcomes of coaches working with me? There's promotion, there's job shift, there's clarity of goals, confident negotiators. It could be salary, it could be your idea. You become a bold risk taker. You are equipped to deal with rejections and failures. You become a smart job searcher. You're equipped with the most important skills to stand out at work. And then I act as an accountability partner to support you through your journey. So we are in touch almost every single day, so that I'm not surprised by what is happening or not happening based on what we are discussing. So, just a few, key outcomes that most of my clients have experienced. And and this could be you as well. So let's move to the third pillar. And, after this, we'll take a break, and I'll be opening up for any questions that you have. Now, you have learned personal power. You have learned the skills. If you don't take actions, nothing is going to change. It's as simple as that. And that's where most of us get stuck. We keep learning and some more learning. So we attend courses, we attend seminars, we attend workshops like these, we take notes. We have so many Udemy and Coursera courses that we have done. We do all of that, but then we are not taking action. And again, not taking action is a sign of resistance. The first slide that I showed, it is nothing about willpower. It is not procrastination. So taking actions is the key to bringing in change and transformation in your career, in your life. What are some things that I prescribe? And this covers your personal power as well. So journaling, I give a template. I give one template for like the first 4 weeks, and then I shift templates to take them to the next level. There's meditation. I invite people to experiment with meditation. Again, there are apps, and there's so many myths around meditation, which we speak on. Exercise, working on your health, reading. Now you're thinking, what do these have to do with career? They have everything to do with your career. Because if you are not strong enough, then your career is not going to accelerate as well. So I have to focus on you to make your career better. Then there is discipline. We form goals and we set timelines and we work on that. And to do that, there's accountability. So I'm checking every single day through WhatsApp. There is consistency. Mirror exercise is a very interesting thing that I introduce for my coaches. Focusing on the right things, realigning your priorities, understanding your value system, figuring out what are your priorities, and then working on that. The people that you surround with, the words that you use, the vocabulary that you use, and the books that you read. These are basic things that build the foundation for the career that you want to create for yourself. And you don't need to do all of them at all times, but it is important. And it could be some version. So some people follow Art of Living, some people do Sadhguru, some people follow Brahma Kumaris, and that's fine. I'm not imposing my way of doing things, but we need to work on our mental, we need to work on our emotional, we need to work on our physical. We need to work on all of these three things to work on our career. So it's a holistic, integrated approach to career development. Now, who are my coaches? Not anybody can work with me. I'm very, very specific about the people that I work with because I put my 150% and I expect them to work and spend 150%. If I am committed, they are not committed, none of us are successful. So they need to have urgency to grow now. It's not tomorrow, it was not yesterday, today, now. So if that need is there, then I identify that need through a one-on-one conversation. They're bold to look deeper within themselves to identify what's blocking. I have had clients who dropped out because they did not want to go deep within themselves. Now, if you don't do that, it's all external. It's like putting a band-aid on a deep wound. It's not going to work. So I don't work with people who are not ready to face what is stopping them from moving forward. Then who are committed, honest, and curious. This is like absolutely critical. And then who are ready to get out of the victim mode and take ownership of their life. You know, we have to stop playing the blame game and constantly keep looking outside for the reason of why I am not doing well. So if you're ready to take your power back, and if you're ready to take the ownership of your life, of your career, of what's blocking you and working on yourself, then, you know, those are the people that I love to work with. I work with a very, very handful of people. I don't have huge number of clients at any time. I'm very specific, but then when I work with some people, I give my 150%. So that's who I am. That's what I wanted to share. I would request again, I'll share it on the group, but I would request for you to just, scan this so that you can give feedback. And as you do that, I'll also open up for question and answers. So thank you so much for staying with me. Just take this snapshot or the URL. Let me just put it. These are different ways that you can work with me as well. All right, so I'm, you can unmute, you can ask a question if you have. And first of all, go to the chat and tell me how it was. Was it useful? What was the one thing which was like most insightful for you? There's detailed feedback that you will do in the form. And it's my sincere request to please fill the feedback form. We are 12 of us here. So do the feedback form. It helps me to improve and share and serve better. So it's my real request to do it. All right, so let's open for questions. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. Okay, personal power.
So if I'm looking for a 2 months to 3 months program so that I can work upon
We lost you, Madhur. Your voice suddenly. Is it just my problem, or can anybody else hear Madhur?
No, his voice is not audible.
We are unable to hear him either.
Okay. I thought it was just at my end. Something shifted, Madhur. You were talking and suddenly you can log off and log in again. Hopefully that will fix the problem.
Deepak Kumara here. Can you elaborate more on the group coaching, what you have second option?
Sure. So group coaching is basically where I take 5 to 6 people maximum. That's the strength of the group. And we go on a journey for about 4 months. And this 4 months which means about 16 sessions. So we have weekly call on Zoom. It's about 2 hours that we spend together, and we're covering one topic every week. And some of these sessions will be one-on-one. So mostly when we're working on the personal power, which is the first pillar, it's one-on-one, because the fears, the beliefs, the mindset, they're all very personal. And it doesn't make sense to discuss in a group. So some of the personal power sessions will be one-on-one, where like me and the coachee, we talk over Zoom for about 2 hours. And then when we get to the skills aspect of it, I get the people together. Right, so we come together like 5, 6, whatever the number is in the group, and then even within that, I have personal sessions, because for example, boss, managing up, we have that session, and then you need to strategize about what plan do you need to create for you managing your own boss. So that is a very, very personal thing for you. So so I get into one-on-one sessions, say every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I take a call based on the energy in the group, what is happening, where are people, how are they progressing. Sometimes I need, like, that is why I said accountability. Every day, everybody sends me a message and I share a template. They do journaling. If I don't see things happening for 2, 3 days, you will get a call. So there is accountability, because I'm monitoring what is happening and what steps are people taking. So this is like a group, and I do give breaks in between. So every 3 weeks, you will have a 1-week break, just to assess and see what you've done. So from a duration perspective, the 4 months could become 5 months. But the number of sessions that we do are 16 sessions, at least minimum. So so that's how the group journey works.
One more point, sorry, I continue to that.
Sure.
More talked about how to manage the boss, because that is where we get promotion and notice. So if you see, and also the subordinates, if you have a team, that is also equally important for our growth, since we have any successor is ready for me to move up.
Absolutely.
That is also important factor, and also how the team felt about that. That's how leaders are. So will that kind of aspects also covered in the courses?
So for example, influencing is a skill that you will use with your team members.
Okay.
Right. And if there is time in the 16 sessions, then I talk about personalities. Each one of us has different personalities. So how do you need to be when you're talking with your team? There's a will skill matrix. There's a lot of stuff that we can cover. So based on, again, the group dynamics and what are the most important needs on the group, I'm not saying I will do all of these things. It could be a subset of what we do. Right. And then some of the people decide to continue the journey with me one-on-one after the 4 months. For example, I just finished a 4-month journey with one leader, and now we are embarking on the job search. So he's continuing to have, continuing to work with me one-on-one to work on his job search. So all of those are different options, and I'm very perceptive about what's happening in the group and, those kind of things. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Any other questions? Anyone?
Hi, Deepa. People in a group might be at a different journey. Might be somebody wants to go for a job, other person might be looking for a business. So their objectives, their goals will be different from each other. So how that can be taken up in the group, especially the skill journey.
Yeah. So it's magical, Bhupinder, how the same sessions that I take address the different needs of people. It's like I have done the same session right now for 90 minutes. I am sure each one of you is carrying back a different learning. So
Right.
you will receive based on the level that you are, right? So that's one thing. And the second thing is, if there's a huge disconnect, then my one-on-one sessions are interspersed between these group sessions. So they give you enough opportunity to talk about how do I customize something, if there is an extra skill that you need. So the beauty is that it is customized, yet it's group.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And could you please give us what will be the commercials for the group journey and one-to-one?
Yeah, so for that, I would need to talk to you first, because like I said, I want to understand where you are in your career, what's stopping you from growing, what are the challenges that you're facing, and if you're the right fit for my upcoming group that I'm going to form or the one-on-one session. So that I will talk about the commercials, because different people have different needs and there's no standard one. Group is obviously standard, everybody pays the same amount, but are you eligible for my group or not is something that I would like to explore when we talk. Right? So if some of you have any further questions, you want to know how much does it cost, if you want to engage with me, then you can set up a conversation. I will share those details on the group as well. It's a discovery call. You don't have to pay anything for it. We spend about 30 to 45 minutes together, and based on that, you can take a call, I can take a call. So it gives us both the opportunity to connect, but it is important that you are following, or you are like those 5 things that I said, that I work with those people. So if growth is important, don't just set up a call to have a chat. That's something that I don't do. If it's urgent, you are serious and you want to engage and you have questions, then please feel free to set up the call.
Ma'am, I have a question. Am I audible?
Yes, Madhu.
Yeah. So, ma'am, like what's just to give you a background, like Monday to Friday, I'm busy in my office work quite a lot, and I'm in a field of accounting where changes are coming in. So I have to keep on updating my professional literature as well. So I'm 12 to 13 hours and dedicating Monday to Friday to my professional field. And on weekends, like I'm not married yet, but I have an elder mother to take care of, or I have some like I'm in a professional development thing. I'm pursuing a US based course right now, so I have to complete in 6 months as well. In the other day on LinkedIn, I saw your post and it really fascinated me. And after witnesses this 90 minutes, I see there are some important stuff I can learn from you. So after sharing with you all this background, ma'am, can you? I have also taken some trainings in past as well, but I'm just curious to know what is a day game and how can I
We missed him just as he was asking the question. Have you heard Murphy's law? Anybody? This is Murphy's law. What has to go wrong will go wrong. Something that you you don't want it to happen will happen. That's Murphy's law. So how do you handle that is the question. So hopefully he'll join back and he will ask the question. But I think he was talking about what kind of time expectations do I have. So anyway, for the group, let me share. So we do about 2 hours 15 minutes of call. It's over the weekend, so you don't need to create time during the weekdays. If it's a group session, it's mostly on the weekend, and they are early morning hours, so you don't have, so you're done and you are free to take care of your family or whoever, whatever you plan to do for the weekend. So so that's 2 hours over a weekend, and then I expect at least 30 minutes every day, because we don't learn by experiences, we learn by reflecting on our experiences. So self-reflection and me time, that's such an integral part of this journey. So if you can create 30 minutes, it doesn't matter you do it in the morning or you do it in the evening, we create all of that structure around it, but 30 minutes every day and 2 hours over the weekend. If you can do that, then yeah, that's the kind of time expectations that I have. And no excuses with that. So because if you make excuses, you will not get results. So I'll just wait for Madhu to join. If anybody else has any questions, otherwise, if you're dropping off, then thank you so much for being here and spending. I know I extended a little bit, but I hope it was useful, gave you some insights, some areas to work on, and go back, reflect. I'll share the recording. You can go back to it again and look at it. The WhatsApp group will be open for the next 4 weeks. So I would love to see what actions are you taking based on what we have discussed today, and how is it helping you. It will inspire others also, now that you all know each other and you have seen each other. So engage in the group. It will be open. If you have a question specifically on something which I shared, ask in the group and I'll be happy to answer. So I'll keep the group open for the next 4 weeks. And then we'll see how it goes.
Deepa, hi, Subarna here. Just one maybe small question. if you can maybe in a minute or two just elaborate a little more on the journaling part that you were mentioning. I'm curious to understand how that will
Okay,
impact.
so let me show you my template that we use in journaling. It will make it so much more easy. So all of like whoever joins my program, you also get we create a drive for you. There is I'm just opening. So this is like a document which will be created for everybody. So the first step that we do in the first session is to set up a coaching agreement, because I need to know what works for you and you need to know how you will work with me. So this coaching agreement is the first thing which we do to make sure that we are on the same page. And a lot of realizations and insights happen here only. So this is the first journaling that you do for the first 4 weeks if you are enrolled in a journey. And then I take you through a next template, which is even more advanced. So how it happens is, again, this addresses the personal power in terms of your awareness, in terms of your mindfulness, in terms of, giving you power back. Because usually what I've seen is if we start the day on a wrong note, some conversation, some argument, the whole day goes bad. I get disappointed in the morning and I end up sleeping disappointed in the evening. So this journaling gives you your power back every 2-3 hours so that you can reset and start again. You don't need to, live with the same emotion throughout the day and sometimes for weeks. Okay. So what we do is I prescribe to do it 5 times in a day, at least 3 times. Okay. It doesn't take more than a few seconds once you get to know how to do it. So what date are you doing it? What time are you doing it? What's your dominant emotion? And I walk through these things in much more detail when we start the journey. And I give you a wheel of emotions. Here it is. So this is the wheel of emotions, from where you have to identify how you're feeling. There's so many emotions and we just know 5 or 6. Okay. So you write down your emotion and there's a reason why step 1, step 2, step 3. Then you identify the trigger of that emotion and then you identify the thoughts that you're going through at that point. Right. And then there is a needs, another sheet that I share, which helps you to understand these emotions are based on what need which is being met or unmet, because everything that we do is for meeting a need and we don't know what that need is. So we are always at a very, very superficial level. So so I explain and we go through that. So this is all like the introduction, the kickoff meeting. And then, is this thought helping you move forward or not? And here is where you start reframing. Okay, how do I re-look at this situation? How do I re-look at this thought? And then if you do this for like even 7 days consistently, there is so much data that comes through, because we all have emotional patterns. We all have emotions that we stay with for days and days together. There are people who trigger us. There are situations that trigger us. Right? So you come to know of those things. Now you are seeing your mind out. And that gives you the power to then work on those things. So this is how journaling happens.
I think consistency is the key, because
Yeah.
I have done this earlier also, and I've realized that, I mean, maybe once or twice, whenever I was feeling triggered, somebody suggested, why don't you just like journal it down, and then maybe few hours later you can go back and reflect on whether it was even worth it, like spending so much time overthinking about it. But I was not, unfortunately, I mean, I was not very consistent with it, and I think I probably can go back into it. But I think this is a very good template you formed, Deepa. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So that's what happens when there is accountability, because if you're working, then there is someone who's checking with you and you're sending a WhatsApp message every single. Okay, let me show you the message that. Okay, I think that's not. No, that's like a confidentiality. So I can't show my client's message, but I can share a normal template. What we do is we see what was the win for the day. What was the learn for the day? What was your challenge for the day? And then we talk about what commitments did you make? So did you do your journaling? Yes or no? If you promise, I'll read 1 para every day. Are you reading or not? So you send me that message every single day, right? So when you do that, the objective is not to report to me. The objective is to reflect and say, okay, what am I doing and what am I not doing? Sometimes it's not that we don't want to do, it's just that we forget to do it. So when you do that reflection, the next day you are more cautious.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the, and I see whether you work with me or you don't work with me, areas where you're trying to work, but you're not able to work, get an accountability partner. We are least accountable to ourselves. That's the worst part about who we are. Like self-integrity is very minimal. We are bothered about our perceptions. We are bothered about what others think of us. So outside accountability is, we take care of that. But what we promise ourselves, we never do or seldom do. Right? So it's important to have accountability partners in areas where you are struggling with. Again, your lifeline relationships.
Okay. Thanks, Deepa.
Yeah. All right. So Madhur, are you back?
Yes, ma'am. I was waiting for your response. Yes.
Okay. So what was your question? Just about, you were about to say the question and you got disconnected.
Yeah, ma'am. So my question is like, what would be the daily and weekly commitment in terms of hours, 30 minutes or daily 1 hour I need to spend? Can you give me clarity on that so that I can decide about my decision to join right now, or shall I hold it back?
Sure. So I understood that was your question. So I already answered it for the group. But you will be required to spend about 2 hours. No, that's
to interrupt.
Okay. Yeah.
My meeting was disconnected, so I really joined.
I know. So I'm just saying, I understood what your question was. So over the weekend, it will be 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and every day 30 minutes.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
And over the weekend, we try to finish our calls in the morning so that you have the rest of the weekend and rest of the day for you.
Okay, ma'am. Morning at what time? Because I returned from Friday. I returned from office by around 12 p.m. because I work for a...
Yeah. So let me just interrupt you there because there's no fixed time. It again depends on the group dynamics. The people who come together, we have to together decide what time works for all of us.
Got it, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am, I understand that. Because it's a group thing, so we have to go by the group thing.
Yeah. So if it's individual, it's between you and me, we decide that for the one-on-one calls, but for the group call, we take a call based on group. And that's where I expect a little bit of flexibility, so that all of us can align to a common time. And I record all of my sessions and they're available to you even like for 1 year after our journey is over. So even if someone misses a session for some urgent, commitment, you always can go back and look at the recording because it's all available and it's available to you for the next 1 year. So that happens.
Got it, ma'am. Got it. Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I don't know what will be my decision in the next 2 to 3 days, but I will really like to give you a positive feedback. And in the meanwhile, I have also bought your book on the Amazon.
Oh, you did? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe you have the structured way in which you provided your inputs in the program. I can see a good association right now or 2 to 3 months down the road, but I really appreciate your time and effort with us.
Thank you so much, Madhu. Thank you so much. Yeah, each person has their own time. This is not a pull thing. I can't pull you into these things. Coaching is a very, very sacred process. What I am doing is very dear to me. So I am very committed and I want anybody who joins at any time to be very committed as well. So whenever it's the right time, it's the right time for me. There are,
Ma'am, I appreciate your flexibility and some of the way you are handling the clients in a way like I don't find you pushy, and the way you are like bringing the power of thoughts in the sessions. This is something differentiating factor in the way things are bombarded today.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you see the difference, and Thank you so much. Thank you, Madhu. All right. So if we are good, we feel whole, complete, fine, then we can wrap up for today. If you have any follow-up questions, you can message me on WhatsApp. You can put it on the group, and then I'll respond. You can set up one-on-one meeting with me if you want to. If you have any further questions, I'll publish all of those things on the group, and then we will see where it goes. All right. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and then we'll talk again.
Thank you, Deepa. You're gonna,
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. Have a great evening ahead.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes. Who's it?
Yeah,
Venu.
you're gonna share the details how to set up a one-on-one call, right?
Yes, yes. I'll put it on the WhatsApp group.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. It was a nice session.
Thank you so
thanks
much.
for the details. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Subarna. Thank you. Thanks, Irisha. Bye.
Bye, Deepa.